Well, good morning. It is Friday, May 12th, and I will just be damned if that there fella didn't make one hell of a difference. So, if you haven't watched any of the videos leading up to this, I've done a bunch. The whole swap. This originally was Hammerhead 150 GT, had a 150 GY6 in it. I swapped in Predator 224 Max engine, did a governor delete on it, did a carb kit intake, put the bigger jet in it, header obviously, and that's about it for the engine build. I threw a 30 series torque converter on it. The original, it was just a Amazon clone, just a cheap $70 Amazon clone. Basically the only thing left of, well, actually the original one grenaded. The original driver and driven pulley are gone. The original driver, all it did was smoke belts, like instantly smoke belts. Then I upgraded to the Juggernaut. That helped, but I was still smoking belts pretty fast. Then I ordered the 7-inch driven pulley just in time for the bearings in the plate to completely grenade themselves. Where is that? Oh, here it is. Bearings totally grenaded. Front and rear bearings are just toast, and the jack shaft was had so much movement in it that the chain was digging into the plate and just gouged it right out. So that's junk parts. But before I went and spent a ton of money getting a bigger engine and a Series 40 torque converter, because that, it all adds up fast. That would have ended up being another $800. I already got some change into this, so I at least wanted to try it, and it wasn't that expensive to just order another Series 30 kit so I could get a new plate with new bearings, and at least try this setup with the 7-inch driver, so that reduces my gear ratio even more. I'm stuck with the sprocket I have. It's a number 50 chain, so it's way bigger than most go-kart. I had to custom fab the sprocket on the inside. I made that right in my shop. Cut apart a smaller sprocket that fit on the shaft, and then it was whatever. I did a video on it. You can go back and watch it if you want. But this is where we are now, and I took this for a couple test rips so far in this setup, and you can see there's a little bit of fiber coming out of the belt, and this is actually a Comet belt. It's 203 591A belt. I had to try quite a few different belts to find one that fit, because like even Go Power Sports, they don't even have a spec for this particular plate with the 7-inch driven. It's not even supposed to fit. So obviously I had to do a little bit of screwing around. It's got a 5/8 jack shaft. I had to put a 3/4 inch sleeve over that, and the key that it came with, the sleeve and the key, needed some serious grinding and polishing to get it all to slide together. And what I ended up doing was basically just building the jack shaft on my vise, and then to take it off and service it, I just undo the C-clip from the back and slide it all together. And also when I do belt replacements, pull the main bolt out of the juggernaut and the C-clip, and the whole thing will come off. Then I can throw a new belt on and it all goes back together. But yeah, it's definitely got more bottom end now. It does not have the top end that it had with the 6-inch driver, but that's okay. I don't need the top end. My trails are skinny and they weave all over the place, so you're constantly turning, constantly. It's all acceleration. There's the only time I can do top speed runs is down the ditch line, and it's so bouncy. It's really not smooth enough to even do top speed runs unless I take it on the road, and then I risk police attention because that's the city right there. I'm right on the outskirts of the city. So for my trails, the setup is actually perfect. I think I'm gonna take the silencer back off of this because it's definitely choking it down a little bit. Or maybe I can just gut it. I don't know. It's got that restrictor in it, and it's really loud without it, but it's definitely dogging it down. And the snorkel is also definitely choking it a little bit, but I really don't have a choice because it is muddy as hell back there. You know, going through my trails, you wind up going through a dozen different puddles, you know, and mud holes. And the way these tires are oriented with the way the engine is, if I can't just have a filter right here. You know, even with the stupid sock, I'll be cleaning it every single time I take a lap. It'll just get pelted with mud and choke out anyways. So there's no filter on this. I got the intake kit, and then that goes to whatever that is, 2.5 inch ID, all the way up to the little flange. And fortunately, my solar panel here, this is a semi-flexible solar panel that runs down to a charge controller to the battery, and that is what charges the battery for headlights and tail lights, and then also the brake lights are wired into that. But the solar panel works pretty good for keeping rain out of this. I haven't had any problem with water building up in there yet. I guess we haven't had any nasty storms. If there is nasty weather, I actually just come out and I throw an empty coffee jug over that, and that will keep the bulk of the rain right out of it. But with the orientation of everything, the engine had to land here because the sprocket can't move. The bracket is welded, so I'm stuck with that. So it had to be right there, and the tires would just completely annihilate any kind of air filter setup. So we went with the snorkel, and now I can bog her in some deep stuff. If I want to crawl through a river, I can. But I would go ahead and say the torque converter setup worked. It was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of screwing around, getting that driven pulley to work on this plate. It's not even supposed to, but I kind of just, you know, I'm persistent, so I made it happen. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the bottom end. I'm happy with how it gets around. So unfortunately, it's bigger than the outside dimensions of this plate. So I don't think the cover is even gonna fit. I might have to make a cover, I guess, and that'll keep the rocks and the mud out of it. You know, centrifugal force will just naturally throw everything away from it, but I like to keep the rocks out of it, you know, and conserve my belts as much as possible. I'm sick of burning belts, so, you know, and keep shit out of the juggernaut, and you know, I'm sure those parts don't like rocks and mud. So as far as functionality goes, I'm tickled pink. It works, and it seems like it's gonna be reliable. I'm gonna take it for a couple of more rips and just kick the absolute living snot out of it before I let my girls loose on it. They're not going to drive it as hard as I am, but you know, I got a durability test it, right? So, alright, I'm gonna see if I can get my helmet cam figured out here, and let's go for a rip. Alright, we'll see how this works. This is a new contraption. Pardon me for a second. I'll get her. Okay. Crank everything tight. I think it should stay. I'm gonna try and hold my head halfway stationary. Oh wow. Car on that flatbed looks a little crispy. Hopefully she's still warm and I don't gotta fiddle around with her. All right. Oh, of course. Let's take this muffler off of here. Stupid. Come on. So you're gonna idle? Give her a second to warm up. Yeah, I got parts and shit all over the place. I've been working on this for like 2 days straight, getting everything worked out. So like my good buddy Peg from G-Dale, Canada, likes to say, you just can't drink all day unless you start in the morning. Oh man, that is good. Man, that is good. So I got a feeling this camera is going to bounce all over the place, so I'm just going to apologize in advance. I know I shouldn't do it, but I think I'm going to take her on the road and try to get a top speed rip in. I won't be able to know what I actually hit, but we'll get an idea. She should do 30 or a little better, and then we'll come back and rip her through the trails. Well, yeah, I'm still beating up the belt, but like I said, my girls aren't going to drive it like I do. They're going to fiddle around with it. So I would go ahead and say she's good to go. Thanks for watching. God bless you.